But again, this was all experimental and we were feeling our way through it. Now, the complicating factor was that a decision had been made to only install 4 of the 18 bolts in the 3,500-pound titanium dome.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're analysing new footage just released by the Coast Guard, which gives us a fresh look at the salvage efforts surrounding the wreckage of the OceanGate Titan submersible. This video was captured by a remotely operated vehicle, ROV, on June 26, 2023, as part of the investigation into the tragic implosion that claimed 5 lives. But before we continue, I want to show you what we are exactly analysing today. Look at this tweet on X. That is the forward dome, which got detached after Titan Dive 61 on June 30th, 2021, and guess what happens later in the ocean after 2 years? That thing should have never been allowed in the water. As a special thank you to our viewers, we're excited to announce a free giveaway of an exclusive 3D printed model of the OceanGate Submersible. This detailed model is designed to float and dive in your pool, bringing a piece of deep sea exploration right to your home. Don't miss your chance to win. Participate through the link in the description or secure your own model by purchasing it on our website. As we dive deeper into the investigation surrounding the OceanGate Titan implosion, the US Coast Guard has released a wealth of new data that sheds further light on the tragedy. These materials, including both videos and detailed images, came out just this evening, offering a clearer picture of what happened and how the aftermath has been handled. Additionally, the Coast Guard provided new charts mapping out the debris field and revealing the sub's final moments. Let's break down what we've learned and go through some of these new details. To start, let's look at the photo released by the Coast Guard yesterday. This image captures the Titan sub after the incident, focusing on the front dome, which completely detached from the main body. What's truly astonishing is that out of the 18 bolts needed to secure this crucial part of the sub, only 4 were used. Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate, reportedly believed that just 4 bolts would be enough to hold the dome in place, reasoning that the intense water pressure at such extreme depths would do the rest. In theory, the water would push the dome into position, securing it against the forces trying to pry it off. However, during the retrieval process, the crane operator was said to have mishandled the sub. The Titan was dropped from a height, causing it to crash down onto the deck with significant force. The impact dislodged the dome instantly, as if it had been barely attached in the first place. This underscores the fragility of the operation and highlights the risks involved in cutting corners with safety measures. If the dome had fallen into the ocean at that moment, it would have been incredibly costly and challenging to retrieve. Given the proximity to the Titanic wreck site, a recovery operation for such a critical piece of debris would have been both time-consuming and financially draining. In addition to this, Fred Hagen provided testimony during a Coast Guard hearing. He offered more detail on what transpired during the retrieval process. The Titan, sitting on a platform, was initially on a flat section of the deck, but as the platform moved to a steeper part of the ramp, things started to go wrong. The incline of the ramp was greater than anticipated, causing the sub to teeter and shift back and forth. The crane operator, in trying to stabilize the sub, released it too quickly, allowing it to drop with a significant thud onto the deck. This violent motion sheared off several of the bolts securing the dome, turning the bolts into projectiles as they shot out from the sub's frame. Some of these bolts, under the stress and pressure, flew out with the velocity of bullets, and the titanium dome detached completely from the sub's body. Now, turning to the charts released by the Coast Guard, we can see a detailed map of the debris field. This chart lays out where various parts of the Titan landed after the implosion. What's fascinating is the size of the debris field, which forms a wide circle approximately 200 meters in diameter and is located roughly 300 meters away from the bow of the Titanic. If you focus on the lower right section of the chart, you'll see a red marker indicating the last known position of the Titan as it descended toward the ocean floor. From this point, you can see how far the debris was scattered. Pieces like the end caps and the capsule were found significantly far from where the sub was last tracked. It's remarkable to think about the sheer force of the implosion and how it propelled debris across such a wide area. The scattered remains paint a grim picture of the sub's final moments. Alongside the charts, the Coast Guard also released several videos this evening, showing more details of the wreckage and the recovery process. Let's take a look at the first video. What we're viewing here is the forward dome of the Titan, which, as we know, is made of titanium and shaped like a hemisphere. This piece of the sub is particularly important because it was one of the first major components recovered after the implosion. As the remotely operated vehicle, ROV, approaches the dome, we can see a small fish swimming nearby. This fish, known as a grenadier, is one of the few species that can survive at such depths, living in the harsh conditions of the deep ocean. What's really remarkable about this footage is the precision and care with which the ROV operates. Using its robotic arms, the ROV carefully manipulates cables to secure the dome, preparing it to be lifted from the ocean floor. The level of technical expertise required to handle this equipment in such a hostile environment is astounding. In the background, you can see clamps that have been attached directly to the titanium dome. These clamps are part of the recovery process, allowing the team to hook the cables onto the dome and pull it to the surface. The ROV uses a specialized tool, similar to a driver, to secure everything in place before the ascent begins. The process of recovering the dome is slow and methodical, with the ROV's arms carefully adjusting and tightening the cords. Once the cables are secure, the team begins the arduous task of lifting the dome. What's truly fascinating here is the ROV's articulation, moving with incredible precision despite the immense pressure and darkness of the deep ocean. The operators controlling the ROV display remarkable skill, moving the arms with surgeon-like accuracy. It's similar to how robotic tools are used in modern surgical procedures, where precision is key to success. As the dome begins to rise, we can see fragments of the carbon fiber hull scattered across the ocean floor. These pieces are remnants of the sub's catastrophic implosion, and it's surprising to see that such large chunks survived. Given the extreme force of the implosion, it was expected that the debris would be much smaller, but here we see some sizable fragments still intact. The ROV continues to pull the dome upward, gradually lifting it away from the seabed. The depth counter in the upper left corner of the screen indicating just how far below the surface the wreckage lies. As the dome rises, sand and sediment are kicked up from the ocean floor, occasionally obscuring the view. Despite this, we can still make out the dome in the background as it is slowly hoisted upward. At this point, the dome is about 8 meters off the seabed, and the depth counter reads 3,770 meters. The ascent is slow and steady, with the cables gradually pulling the dome higher and higher. We can also see the ROV's robotic arms retracting as the dome ascends. The arms, having done their job, now pull back as the recovery operation shifts into the next phase. The depth counter shows that in just a few minutes, the dome has risen over 70 meters from the ocean floor. The footage is sped up at certain points, allowing us to see the progress more quickly. Every now and then, the dome comes back into view, with the cables keeping it securely in place as it ascends toward the surface. At this point, it's clear just how delicate and intricate the recovery process is. It takes incredible patience and precision from the operators controlling the ROV. The footage of the dome's ascent showcases both the power and finesse required to operate machinery at these depths. The ROV is designed to work in some of the harshest environments on Earth, and this footage is a testament to the technology and skill involved in such deep-sea recoveries. As the dome ascends, we notice more debris from the Titan littering the ocean floor. These pieces serve as a haunting reminder of the tragedy that occurred. The carbon fiber material, which made up much of the sub's hull, has been torn apart by the immense forces of the implosion. What remains is a scattered field of wreckage, a silent testament to the catastrophic failure that ended the Titan's final dive. The ascent continues, with the dome being pulled steadily upward. At around 7 minutes into the operation, the dome has ascended over 400 meters from the ocean floor. The footage continues to show the ROV's journey, with the debris field below gradually fading into the distance. Despite the challenges of working at such depths, the operation seems to be progressing smoothly. However, questions remain about how the other, larger parts of the Titan were recovered, and we hope to see more footage from the Coast Guard in the coming days. The entire process is painstaking, requiring incredible amounts of focus and control. Keep in mind, the ROV operators are managing this recovery from over 2 miles above, relying on the signals sent through tethers and cables to guide the robot's movements. It's incredible to think about the level of coordination and skill it must take to recover these massive pieces of debris from the bottom of the ocean. The depth presents challenges beyond what most can imagine, and the Coast Guard's dedication to piecing together what happened is nothing short of extraordinary. This recovery operation is a stark reminder of the immense challenges involved in working at such depths. The debris field, scattered remnants of the Titan, and the slow, careful ascent of the ROV all highlight the difficulties of operating in this environment. The sub came so close to reaching its goal, only for disaster to strike at the last moment. As the recovery operation continues, we'll keep bringing you updates and new information as it becomes available. The Coast Guard has done a remarkable job so far, and we can only hope that more videos and images will be released to shed further light on what happened. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this story and and bring you more insights into what went wrong and what we can learn from these events. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. See you in the next video.